Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, a very warm welcome and welcome back KS family. And please note, I don't have WhatsApp or Telegram. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth and positive excellence in the process. There's a lot of interesting news in the markets, so let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently up 3.81% to 16,844. Ethereum is up 3.47% to 1255. In economic news, the PPI, the Producer Price Index, came in softer than expected, and that's actually good for markets because it's proving to the Federal Reserve that demand destruction is actually occurring. But the Fed wasn't happy with the Empire State Manufacturing Index, which came in much stronger than expected. And core retail sales and retail sales month on month are coming out today. The markets reacted positively to the US producer price growth actually slowing and therefore improving the inflation outlook. Archaic government policies are pretty much like a light switch. What can they do? They can only destroy demand, and that's what they're seeking to do. And because they're doing it, they're feeling really good about things. How did markets actually react to the news? We saw that we had a spike in the VIX, the fear gauge of the market, but that was suppressed down. Prices, when fear comes down, prices go up, especially in the major indices, but not always, but pretty much 99% of the time. And when we look at the NASDAQ 100, that came up and got squashed down. Now, what's actually going on here? What we can see is the dollar is actually regaining strength. We can see bond prices starting to turn around. Peak yields may well be in, and you can't tell a top until it's passed. And we can see gold is absolutely exploding out of the gate. But at times like this, if you're buying around here, you're probably going to get a retracement. So just be aware of that. It's quite possible that gold could be reacting to the Russian missile strikes on Ukraine. And if Russian missiles actually crossed across into Poland, killing 2 people, that could cause a lot of problems in Europe. A senior US intelligence officer says Russian missiles crossed into NATO member Poland, killing 2 people. Of course, NATO needs to respond to this, and I think gold might be spiking because of it. We've seen continued falls in the dollar, in the DXY, but just be aware there's more to it with gold. Oil is in a short-term downtrend, and when we look at junk bonds, we can see more risk-on appetite is entering the market. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 rose following another lighter-than-expected inflation report. And when we look at the 9 sell-offs and recoveries in the S&P 500 since 1966, married to the current price, we can see that we've been doing really well. We have not broken below that support level. That would be a kind of an Armageddon line. We can see we've done the exact opposite. We've rallied up very strongly. And when we turn to global markets, we can see China is starting to recover. This is actually really good news for the global economic system. And we can see around the world, Taiwan is doing well. The US indices are also doing well. Germany, Russia, the UK, Australia, Japan, all doing well. Except for crypto. Thanks, Sam Bankman-Fried. It's important to understand that crypto is not to blame. SBF was a bad actor. He did bad things, and he's being taken to court because of it. And of course, that's a very little comfort to the literally possible 1 million creditors. Creditors are owed money by FTX. And it's also likely that other bad actors will be removed from the crypto industry. It's important to also note that the stock market is not free of bad actors. In fact, the US markets and markets all around the world have a lot of zombie companies. Basically, they're companies just propped up. They're the walking dead. When there's excess leverage in any financial system, it allows bad actors to do bad things, but corrections always clear out. It's like a bushfire. It's like a fire that rages through a forest. It actually regenerates new growth and it allows the forest to live. It's likely only the strongest of exchanges are going to survive. FTX owned. Crypto exchange Liquid halts all withdrawals. And Tron founder Justin Sun is reportedly taking over Hubai Global. And Justin Sun's team is actually doing due diligence over a potential acquisition of FTX. Justin, please don't buy FTX with the Tron token. Buy it with money. It's important to remember that FTX got into trouble because the majority of its money was held in its token. And when the token collapsed, so too did the business. In news just in, Bahamas Supreme Court approves provisional liquidators for FTX. And in unfortunate news as well, BlockFi, which is financially linked to the now bankrupt FTX, it tends to lay off employees and is considering filing for bankruptcy soon. And following the FTX collapse, there's been an uptick in stablecoin inflows and DEX activity as people get more interested in self-custody options. And we were talking about wallets in the previous episode. One thing to always note, really big upticks can create pullbacks. So just keep this in mind. This is part and parcel of the crypto market. Up and down is the nature. And that's why it's so important to be on the right side of the percentage. One of the best ways to get onto the right side of the percentage is to do your daily three-dimensional risk management code, which is called a BORSOG code, and I go into great detail in episode 685. What you want to do is you want to always consider, for example, if you wanted to get into TWT or one of the other wallets, you take the initial position. What if this goes against me? What if the trade turns against me? What will I do? It's really important to think about the down case first, not the up case. By thinking this way, you're already entering smart money thinking because you know you control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. And it's really important to be synchronized in with the market. You can be inside a really good trade, but buy at the wrong time, and that will put you on the wrong side of the percentage. A lot of people are saying crypto is dead. It's far from dead. Absolutely. In fact, the New York Fed launches a 12-week CBDC pilot program with major banks, including BNY Mellon, Citi US Bank, and Wells Fargo. Crypto is here to stay. And why is it here to stay? Because crypto represents the ownership layer of Web 3.0, the Internet of Value. It's just like saying if crypto was to disappear, Web 3.0 would disappear. The Internet would disappear. Highly unlikely. And in yesterday's episode, I said exactly why central banks all around the world must embrace crypto. It's because there's so little actual physical proof of money. They have to go digital. And to do that, they have to go to the blockchain. This means that they're actually embracing crypto, not rejecting it. Turning to crypto, it's important to look at the overall market first, and we can see total crypto market cap is currently $799.776 billion. We can see it actually came down and bounced off a Stanfield level. This is a structural level of smart money buy support, crypto-wide, at $795.021 billion. And we can see it came down to that smart money level, and across the crypto market, buyers stepped in and said, yes, please, I'll have some of that. So we're literally pinging between 816, 724 billion and 795.021 billion. What we actually notice is that we've crossed across resistance. This is actually an incredibly positive sign. And what moves the crypto market? Bitcoin does. Your beloved alts cannot escape Bitcoin's gravity. And when we look at the current price of Bitcoin, it's now $16,773. We have a key structural buy level, a smart money buy level at 16,626. And the market's defended this line quite well. We've seen in past midterm elections, for example the 28 Republican midterm election, that the markets basically came down. That's the 2018 midterm election. And the 2014 midterm election, we saw the markets go up. Crypto has experienced its third midterm election, and it's completely different from the previous two. The previous one in 2018 was pretty flat and then it fell. In 2014, it literally went up. It did really, really well. And now in 2022, it dropped like a brick and basically is hovering around this particular smart money buy level. The fundamental question is, are we going up or are we going down? And that very much depends on market structure. We can see another smart money level below, a buy level at 15,752. Then there's one at 14,567, and there's a mass of them around the 13,900 mark. What about going the other way? There's a smart money sell level at 17,102 and 17,989. If we go up, we'd expect to ping between these levels on the way up. If we go down, we expect to ping between, for example, 16,626 and 15,752. If we see weakness below 15,752, we would expect to make our way to 13,900. If we see strength above 17,102, we would expect to come up to 17,989. That's the way you want to look at things. When looking at the longs and the shorts, we can see the longs have been piling into the market. They're increasing in strength. The shorts have been coming out of the market and then now just starting to uptick. Let's have a look at liquidations and see what's going on. We can see across the past 24 hours, there's been 74.51 million in liquidations across 29,862 positions. That's really low in terms of positional liquidations. And across the past 24 hours, in terms of total liquidations, about 55% have been short. What about the past 12 hours? 58% long. The past 4 hours, about 80% long. And the past hour, about 72% short. So you can see the markets are really quite choppy. And when we look through liquidations, we see recently that there were a lot of long liquidations. But as pointed out by one of our beloved CTKS family members, we saw a lot of short liquidations and they've now vanished. Ooh, spooky. And thank you to Johnny for pointing this out. If you go back to episode 711, haha, cute episode 711, what you'll see is a lot of short liquidations around this particular period and then these long liquidations. Let's look at the data now. Where have they gone? They've disappeared. So spooky. But one thing to be aware of, when you have a lot of long liquidations, that actually tips the balance against the shorts. They can be taken out. They can be liquidated, not like going on a date, but like getting smashed. And well done, Johnny, for pointing that out. Legend. One thing to be aware, there are structural lines under the DXY, and the DXY can have an impact on crypto and of course the stock markets. Of course it does. And what we actually see is this gravitational line at 106.998. It was attracted all the way back there from 105.357. So this just goes to show you how magnetized these lines can get. The next smart money support in the DXY is 106.288 and a lower one at 105.663. The next resistance level is 106.673 and 106.998. What we actually see with the DXY is typically an inverted relationship, but the problem right now is FTX and the contagion within the crypto market. It's kind of playing havoc with this directional correlation, so please be aware of that. However, when we look at something like the Nasdaq, we get an inverted relationship. I'll just invert this to show you. You can see on the inverted time frame, you can see that directional inverse correlation between the DXY. If the DXY goes up, the Nasdaq comes down. And if the DXY goes down, the Nasdaq comes up. This is an inverted chart. And we talk about this a lot inside the masterclass. We know that all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell, and actually having a strategy how to buy and sell is incredibly important. It will make all the difference to investment returns. Just purely and simply, if you're an investor, you literally need to know how to trade, especially when markets get volatile. For example, Solana was an incredible project and has been hit with FTX contagion. It's reduced some 54% currently. Having a strategy how to get in and get out is really important. It doesn't mean that Solana is done and dusted. As we've seen, many cryptos have come down because of the FTX contagion. But Solana has been heavily hit. If you know how to reposition your investments and get onto the right side of the percentage, you can do extremely well. And that's what we talk extensively about inside the masterclass. And when we look at the top cryptos, we can see Ethereum following Bitcoin's gravity, that blue line in the background. BNB following Bitcoin's gravity but weaker. XRP following Bitcoin's gravity but stronger. Doge following Bitcoin's gravity but stronger as well. ADA is pretty much aligned, synchronized in with Bitcoin's gravity at the moment. Matic is stronger, DOT is stronger, and Solana is far weaker. And when we look at the greatest gainers over the past 24 hours, Stacks is out in front, followed by Quant, Chiliz, Kronos, LDO, Mina, and Algo. The greatest losers over the past 24 hours, TWT, Synthetics, Immutable X, GMX, Bitcoin SV, Clayton, and EGLD. Looking at exchange tokens, we can see BNB is down around 16%, Leo down around 20%, CRO 33% roughly down, 15% for OKB, KCS about 25% down, HT really hit hard, nearly 45% down, GT about 21% down, and poor old FTT over 92% down. A lot of people say, what exchange could be next? What is the fallout of FTX? I believe you only have to look at the exchange tokens. They'll tell you a big story because smart money always profits first. And you can see FTT has come down dramatically, traumatically. What's the next greatest loser here? Absolutely, Hubai. So HT has come down nearly 45%. And you can see BNB has remained very strong at negative 16%, one of the best ones, and OKB is also okay. I would recommend you actually follow the exchange tokens. If they start to waver, if they start to do things that are not good and disconnected really from Bitcoin's gravity, that can be a bit of a sign that something may be afoot and you may need to do something about it. When people talk about reported takeovers of other exchanges, it's good to keep your eye on the exchange tokens. Money is always flowing around the crypto sectors, so when the FTX collapse occurred, there was an uptick in DEX activity. Just as we did with the exchange tokens, let's look at the top DEXs. We can see Uniswap doing rather well and much stronger than Bitcoin's gravity. This means this variance between Bitcoin's gravitational pull and Uni's actual price performance, it shows investor attention, and this is very important to understand. XLM does also have investor attention. Not so much for cake at the moment. Synthetics just in alignment. Rune has a little bit more investor attention than does Bitcoin currently. 1inch starting to get it, starting to ramp up. Bell is not looking too bad. And what we can see, Sushi is also above Bitcoin's gravity. This is really, really good to keep in mind. But remember, get on the right side of the percentage and think about the negative first. Our community subscribes to the smart money mindset. That puts us in the minority because the retail mindset, where people just experience optimism and thrill, euphoria, all the way into panic and capitulation. That's a terrible, terrible place to live. It's also where you look at something that's hot and you buy it and you end up saying, oh no, it just went down. So you sell, and then, oh no, it just goes up. And when it goes up, you say, fantastic, oh, I was right, I'm getting in. And you buy, and then it goes down again. It's the death of 1,000 cuts. Getting out of the retail mindset must be the first thing that everybody who wants to make money must do. Smart money is completely different. It's all about skill and probabilities. And how do you get the skill? The first thing is to mark up your charts with the CTKS method, and this is taught inside the masterclass. Then look beyond the charts, look beyond the crypto charts to all those other charts that are impacting your beloved crypto. And believe me, there's plenty of them. And it's also important to understand that all markets are intercorrelated and interconnected. Then we pop back in to the crypto market, finding the market's focus, Rule 32, understanding that opportunities reset daily, Rule 28, and enhancing our pattern recognition, Rule 109. But before we buy or sell, we must have emotional control. If fear is guiding your decisions or emotion is guiding your decisions, you're in for losses. But those losses are just part and parcel of learning inside financial markets. So the key is to keep that pain low, but to learn from it. And you can do that with BORSOG. Rule 621, buy on red, sell on green. That will put you on the right side of the percentage, but you must know what you're doing. And there are many, many ways to buy and sell. Professional smart money, Zone 3 and Zone 4, has a completely different mindset to Zone 1 and Zone 2 retail thinking. Zone 1 and Zone 2 put the money first. Zone 3 and Zone 4 put the process first and the money last. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of bad actors in the crypto space, but that's just not confined to crypto. There are bad actors everywhere, especially in the stock market. So it's not something that we can get away from. But the concept is, if you can identify people that exhibit negative excellence, that exhibit Zone 1 and Zone 2 thinking, that becomes a form of risk management. Just stay away from Zone 1 and Zone 2 founders, and sometimes they can be really, really hard to spot. It can be really difficult to spot Zone 1 and Zone 2, owners of projects and also influencers. But one way you can spot it is they literally put money first. It's all about riches, getting rich really, really fast. It doesn't happen in this world. You have to work for everything that you get. And if you would like to join a Zone 3, Zone 4 community, we have it right here. You're in the right place. Thank you, Raja, for your very kind comment, my friend. And thank you also to Art and everybody who commented. Art said, "We win or learn, but never blame," is one of the most profound lessons we could ever learn as traders. And what you will find in life, sometimes things just don't go as planned. Sometimes you'll get a setback. Just look at the setback and say, that's no big deal. I can get around that. I'll just do something else. Don't hold on to blame. Don't hold on to toxicity. Hold on to forgiveness and gratitude. When you get a setback, there's always a set up coming. And if you think like that, you're not going to get angry over very many things at all. And thank you yesterday. Flopard Farg had a very, very good comment. And it was just about saying thank you when you receive money and thank you when you lose money as well. And it's a beautiful concept. I would urge you to have a look at that comment in yesterday's video. And having the right mental outlook when you make losses is incredibly important. Art says, and Art's a veteran just like myself in the markets. Art says, when I lose on a crypto or stock trade, I'm paying tuition for the education I receive. I win or learn. And we either win or we learn. If you're in a position that you're learning consistently, there's some message in there the market is trying to send you. Always pay attention. Don't ignore the message because the cost becomes too great. There were so many beautiful comments. I just have to tell you that my heart was absolutely touched. I'm so grateful for everybody who is in our community, and being here each and every day, 365 days a year, is not going to change. I love being here, and I love sharing my knowledge with everyone. If you have family or friends who could benefit from positive excellence and what we do here each and every day, please introduce them to our community by sharing a video. We have one of the best communities on YouTube, and you can see that in the comments. Our community is just awesome. And Dinesh, good one. K3, Ken, Kate, and KS family. You master of mathematics. And I'd like to let everybody know, although I put in a lot of time, and Kate does too, it's all about love. We just love the community. We love the interaction, and we love being of service and helping people out. So it's an absolute pleasure. In yesterday's video, we were talking about boundaries. What are they? And just share whatever you would like related to boundaries, because it's really important discussion. And Wabi Sabi had a really good story in there. Some people are insincere and they have hidden motives and agendas when they engage with you. When that happens, you have to put boundaries in play, because people have to say what they want and do what they mean, and not have hidden agendas all over the place. And there was a really good sub-discussion here. Art said that it can be hard to master boundaries because boundaries need to be different for different people, because different people have different levels of integrity, emotional stability, maturity, all sorts of different things. Art goes on to say some of our boundaries might be tight and others may be loose and wide. There is really no one size fits all. Boundaries are defined by each individual, probably depending on what we've experienced in the past as well. Really insightful art. There's a bit of a parallel here between boundaries and trading. And investing, of course, because we know all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. There's no one size fits all in trading, and there's no one size fits all in investing, and there's no one size fits all. I can't do tongue twisters in boundaries either. And Oscar said, another very wise family member, speaking about boundaries just isn't enough. You must enforce them. And the enforcement part is critically important. You can be very, very kind, but you can also carry a big stick. Being kind doesn't mean you're a doormat. It just means that you respect relationships around you and you put others first. But some others you should not put first, because you just shouldn't, for the reasons that Art pointed out. And thank you again to everybody who comments, and especially when you put in your BORSOG codes. That's your way of saying to the market, hey market, pay attention. I want a profit and I'm working towards it. Badger said, concerning boundaries, they create healthier relationships. Like a fence around a house, it lets others know what needs to be respected. Absolutely superb, Badger. And Oscar shared his immense wisdom when it comes to boundaries. Just think about, would I do that? If you feel that you need to enforce a boundary, just say, would I do that? Instead of, is that person's behavior towards me okay? This can be a really, really good way of uncovering what is acceptable to you and what is not acceptable as well. And if someone was acting towards, for example, your children or a child that way, someone that you really, truly, deeply loved, Would you stand by and say that's okay if it wasn't okay? And that's the time to step up and pop a boundary in. But you don't have to be aggressive about it, and this is the key. Boundaries do not need to come at the expense of inner peace. In fact, you should leverage inner peace to put them in place. And Purpuratum said, boundaries, exploring them without hurting yourself or others is the true art. And it is an art. Definitely, my friend. Thank you for your comment. And Tails, thank you so much for your very kind comment, my friend. I would just make the videos smaller. I would always be here. And Kate's always here too. This is just beautiful. Thank you, Tails. Tails also spoke about boundaries. And it's always a challenge to define a boundary and then to enforce it. There have been many books written about emotional vampires that suck people dry. And Tails says, only you know what is good for you and where the line has to be drawn, so you can continue to be a positive influence in this world. Saying no does not make you a bad person. It actually strengthens your integrity, and others will respect you going forward. And of course, it's really important to do to guard your inner peace and also your outer peace. Don't get sucked into other people's dramas. There's so much wisdom inside our community. I would urge you to read through the comments. They're just magnificent. And Michael was saying, I know this sounds obvious, but to maintain boundaries, you have to actually know what are your boundaries. If you don't know what is acceptable for you, then anything is acceptable. If you find that others are getting resentful or passive-aggressive or even outright aggressive because you enforce a boundary that you feel is fair and reasonable, just ignore them. And well done to everybody who popped in their BORSOG codes. This is all part of your active learning. We either win or we learn, and we're always trying to up our synchronization. And just a warning again, I know we've spoken about this for months, ever since YouTube changed its algorithm, but you will find long comments can actually vanish. And Michael said, I learnt a while ago not to fight the YouTube word limit algorithm and have since dramatically or drastically reduced my comments. It's something to do with YouTube creating more engagement or something like that. I don't know exactly what it's about. But it's there. It's there. It's definitely a reality. So please make sure that if you have a long comment, just pop it on a WordPad or Notepad, Word, whatever, like that, and then just copy and paste. It's a great way not to get frustrated, and you can always break it into smaller components. I think something really fantastic to talk about in tomorrow's comments would be forgiveness. We know that it takes a lot of strength to create boundaries, to create them, enforce them, and understand them. We need that strength in life. That's a good thing. Forgiveness is also incredibly important. And something else good to talk about. Do you see forgiveness as a weakness? I would love to hear your thoughts on forgiveness. And if you're new to our community, or if you've been in the community for quite a long time and haven't reached out, it would be lovely to just say hi in the comments. It's always nice to connect with a global family that really cares about people. And Sinman, arigato universe, we know it wants us to succeed. Beautiful, and thank you Dan so much. And we know that's part of the CTKS Creed. The CTKS Creed primes our mind for profitability in the crypto market, but also for happiness in life. And we can see with the World Cup coming up, the socials have gone bananas. That's a technical term. The words that we say from the CTKS Creed actually prime our minds for positivity. I know the universe wants me to succeed, and you can just change universe to whatever you like. God, Buddha, Allah, doesn't matter, whatever it is, just what you're comfortable with. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities and life reset daily. I am worthy, I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. BORSOG is buy on red, sell on green, rule 621, and that will require all the knowledge of the masterclass to effectively implement inside the market. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. That last one is incredibly important. I win or learn and never blame. If something doesn't go your way, if you find you're getting upset by something, just say to yourself, wow, I just learned something then. How can I do better the next time? Take control over your life, and you'll find you don't get angry at other people. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.